Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Welcome to the KVJ ATS Podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show Podcast.
Yeah, hello. Welcome to your Friday KVJ After the Show Podcast. People are going, oh. People are like, oh, you guys are starting a little bit late today. Yeah, we got to kind of side conversation.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we just
apologize.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Well, you know, it was a big old discussion. Virginia's over here talking. I try not to get caught up inside things because that's all it takes. Because you know, with everything we do, it's on a schedule. So if Kev gets caught in a conversation or if I get distracted, then here we go, and people are upset. And it's, you're running late, and so. Yeah, you tickled a nerve. Virginia was just talking about, you know, there's everything going on with the coronavirus. One of the fascinating things you're talking about how you'd heard somebody discussing about
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, conspiracy theories. And I'm one of those people. I know Jay Bird has a weird and whatever and talks about that. And, you know, what I was kind of like saying with everything is that there are a lot of things that I think are plausible. I think there's just so many things that are out there that could completely blow your mind. And I watch a lot of those specials that, you know, Jay Bird talks about. But the problem is you get these whack job conspiracy theorists, and they may have 10% of the truth. It's a crazy story, but then they start stirring in their batshit ideas, and 90% of it's bogus. And at the end of the day, the stew tastes like shit because you're like, no, and it doesn't make sense, but there is something there.
Right.
And so we were just, you know, kind of talking about, is it possible that, you know, the whole coronavirus was man-made in Wuhan? What's a conspiracy? Does it make sense? And there's some things that I had read about, there's a lab across the street from where it supposedly happened and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know. And you'll never know. And that's just the way the nature of these things are. But I was telling you a story about, I just love when you run into somebody fascinating. And Bear's Food Shack is on Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. When you get off of I-95, start heading east, you'll see it right there. I go there all the time. Amazing, great, healthy food. And I just a couple weeks ago was able to finally meet the guy that started. Bear is his name. And he's just one of those people that's just amazingly fascinating.
Is he big? Is he built like a bear?
No, he's not. He's unsuspecting. The name actually doesn't even really fit.
Is it one of those kind of like ironic names where, tiny, but tiny's 7'3"?
He's a guy that he's a guy that looks like he's lived a life. He's fit. He's older. But he just looks like he's got adventure written on his face. And It's not like he's scarred and tore up, but he's just a guy that looks interesting. You just said he's like the most interesting man in the world. That guy's oddly attractive.
Yes.
But he just looks like he's got
confidence.
Yes.
Stories.
Right.
Sexy, but in an older man way.
Yeah, and he's got a photo he was just talking about because he's very into aquatic. He lived in Hawaii a long time, and that's the theme of Bear's Food Shack is because he had been there.
Oh, I love Hawaiian food.
He loves scuba diving, snorkeling, all those kind of things. And he's got this photo on the wall of him touching his arm out to the fin of a beluga whale. And that just never happens. And it was in National Geographic. And,
wow.
So he's just got all those kind of like stories. And he had something on, had a Homeland Security patch on it. And so I started talking to him. It was fascinating. He's basically boiling down the amazing conversation we had was he had just said, working in that environment, he said, we can never get one wrong. And he said 9/11 we got wrong. And he said the terrorists only have to be right once. We have to be right 100% of the time.
Jeez, that's no pressure.
And so there are all these stories that are happening, and you're not going to hear publicity on it because every little story that happens of a near miss might give an idea to somebody else who starts putting all the pieces together and then finding, because they're always trying to identify the weaknesses, in the fabric of safety in our society. And it got down to, could you militarize something like a coronavirus? And I was telling you about a TV show. I won't say which one to avoid the spoiler, but somebody had weaponized Ebola virus. and they had these terrorists that had these captives, and they released the captives, and people are like going, okay, the terrorists really blew it. Like, they just didn't execute well. And then there's a photo of the person they released with his arm around the president, and they're like, why is he with him? They're going, oh, they're long lost friends. They went to the Naval Academy together. And they're like going, that was the guy the terrorists had. They had given that guy weaponized Ebola and then got him knowing that he was friends with the president, and they would do a big press conference, and he's draped all over him. And they're like, oh my gosh, the president's got Ebola. And, you know, that's the kind of stuff that you got to now think about if you're trying to work security for the president. Is they're starting to realize that it may not be a bullet or a bomb that can take out the president. All you need is a pathogen.
It could be, let's say, a guy from Brazil who's there as a press secretary and hanging out with the president, breathing on him, giving him the coronavirus.
Yes.
That could be something set up, y'all. Not so far-fetched.
It could be some chick named Lana who just got back from being from all over the country.
So many guys.
So many states. So many dicks.
So that's really it. And who knows what, and you know what, unless you have that high clearance job, are never going to know the true story. But that's just kind of it. And Carl said, yeah, a good conspiracy is grounded in at least a bit of truth. And somewhere in the midst of that,
Your Honor,
maybe.
May I exhibit the Pink Lies trial? That conspiracy. There's some truth in there somewhere.
You'll never know.
She never had pink eye. That JMZ documentary exposed the witch for the liar she is.
yeah.
Got to re-release that.
So that was it. That's why we're starting a little bit late, as I got sucked into that discussion, which I find fascinating.
And I just told you, go look up the Boston professor, biologist, physicist, or whatever the hell he was, that was arrested early in December along with 2 Chinese nationals. They arrested them with a bunch of test tubes of something.
Yeah.
And they're still arrested. They're still in custody. So why? Like, what happened? What did they get arrested for? Early December, the timeline plays out for something, you know, the first coronavirus case in Wuhan was in late December.
Yeah.
Did they arrest them in early December or mid-December with the coronavirus?
They realize
trying to spread it?
The new war and the new battlefront is either biological or electronic warfare. And that's where it's all at. Realistically, we're not going to see the armies lined up in a battlefield just
storming the beaches.
Yeah, that now has become old warfare. New warfare is this front. And it's a lot more quiet. You're not going to really notice. You're not going to see. But you can see how you can throw society into chaos.
Absolutely.
Just by even what we've got going on right now with this, and how you can devastate financial markets and things like that. And so that's really where the new fear is you ain't gonna be able to find shit paper ever again because somebody that's the real war. You
create American chaos, you just devastate the financial markets, and then bam, you're like, ha, gotcha.
This sounds like a goofy question, but I'm being serious. How does the world change if the new way of war was each country, instead of fighting with weapons, the country had to do battle dances against each other? How does that actually change the world?
It'd be nice if they would. I mean, yeah, the world would be a much more peaceful place that we could settle our disagreements that way.
But would that mean everyone would have to learn how to dance? That'd be the new law. That everyone would have to be a great dancer.
You'd want to have at least somebody that's going to represent your country. It would be like the new special forces. They talk about the SEAL Team 6 or Delta Force, which, are the best of the best that we have now. Now you'd have to put together an amazing dance troupe. And each country would have to do that because you'd have to march them out there to make battle.
We got those guys from Digital Vibes that we had at Stars Ball. They're really good. I think we put them on the front lines for the KVJ show.
And then how do you decide who the winner is? You know what I mean? You have to come up with a whole system.
I've always wondered that. I've seen these dance battles, and they'll do it in movies, and somebody will do their thing, and then at the end they're like, what? And everybody gets around like going, I didn't look any better than the other guy. I'm like, why all of a sudden, how does everybody know he's the winner?
Totally.
Who just ruled this as a winner? I'm like,
you're right. If it's a street battle, we got to get some rules.
A lot of times I disagree. That's why I kind of like death. When this guy's alive and that guy's dead, who won?
Yeah, dance battle's subjective.
Okay.
It's too subjective. There's no death at the end.
Well, my question was, how does the world change? Does it get worse? I don't know. People are arguing even more.
Yeah.
I just want to drop a mind bomb in there.
You just wanted to lighten the mood because we were getting too serious.
Yeah, no.
I get it.
Jason said, you take TV and radio away, though. No hysteria, no panic. Oh, my friend, that's not true. You've got social media and internet
Well,
and
I
everything
think
else.
That's
Yeah.
where the most panic is.
Yeah.
I think he even means that probably. I think all that is kind of in the same vein. TV and the news and then social media because you're regurgitating all that
But they've
bullshit.
wired us because we have the natural curiosities of just being a human being that we always want to know. And so they know that we are always going to trickle our way into it because we want to find out what the hell is going on. That we're our own worst enemy. If we just be going, I don't care, I'll just live my life. We can't do that.
Often, yes, in life, we are our worst enemy. We are.
Are you just going to repeat everything Kevin says?
I'm not going to prove you
I need that, though. He's like a hype guy. Yeah, boy.
If you say it just a little bit slower right after.
Yes, Kevin.
Yes.
Often in life, we are just our worst enemy.
Sometimes the worst enemy in the world is the person in the reflection looking back at you.
When did Kevin say that?
Yeah, that's my own.
That's
my own
yours?
bullshit.
That's a
Yeah,
ridge?
That's a ridge.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting to see what some people are doing here. I got an email from our buddy Cesar in Green Acres. He said, the CEO of our company here, and it's a theater company, it looks like CMX Cinemas, that they're going to take a direct impact on their bottom line. They know that, but what they're doing now to try to prevent the spread of coronavirus, reducing seating in the theaters by 50% and blocking every other 2 seats in every row. So that's kind of how they're doing that, trying to separate people and give them their own space. It'll cut down the amount of ticket sales they have. But, ultimately, people aren't going out now, and the theater is probably a place people won't go. So them actually putting this out might get more people than they would have had otherwise. A theater actually is probably going to be pretty safe. I'd imagine a lot of them are going to be,
Okay, what's your temperature on? I said it earlier, but I really didn't get your opinion. I ate a big old tomato from Walmart.
You ate a tomato.
From Walmart that was out, in the section where they have the tomato pyramids.
Yeah.
I washed it. That wouldn't skeeve you out, would it?
No.
Okay, because I know you're a germaphobe. I'd like to see what the level's at.
No, and I'm not crazy. I wouldn't even put myself in that level. I think I recognized that I was starting to get obsessive thinking about germs, and that's where I said, stop it, dude. And I'm like, I got to myself, had to talk with myself, and I wouldn't put myself in that category.
It goes back to your little statement being your worst enemy. OCD many times, Virginia, becomes your own worst enemy.
You down with OCD?
Unfortunately, no, I'm not.
I'd say I'm germ aware, not germophobic.
Yeah, I hear you. Mm-hmm. You don't move shit off lines and stuff, do you?
I have organizational linear things that that I do need to do. And that might just go into I'm just a very neat individual.
But I'm not a neat, organized person. Like, for example, there's this business card that's going over that line right there. You see that on the table?
Yeah, is that bugging you?
If I think about it enough, it will. If I was younger, I'd have to move that right away.
Move that card.
No, that's when you let it beat you. You got to fight that feeling.
You want me to move
Just
it?
let that feeling happen. Yeah, you want to move it.
I'll move it for you.
Remy in the chat room was like, Brazil's president tested positive for coronavirus. And Virginia's talking about it. She's like, I wonder if Trump has it. And I said, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me, if he possibly did, because, you started talking about that dude that was from Brazil that he was exposed to.
Yeah, he was standing right behind him in a video and then took a picture with him. Trump is holding a hat that the guy gave him.
Yeah, but I think to that note, when you got the commander in chief, you want that person to look like the pillar of health, security, and, you look at the people that panic and chaos, and a lot of times their job is just to make people feel like everything's going to be all right.
Right.
And even if he had it, they may be like, hey, go lay down. We're giving you fluids. We're doing everything you can to fight coronavirus. We realize you got to be in front of a camera. Let's think of how to frame this, but never admit that you have coronavirus.
You ever see that movie, Dave?
Yeah.
Never mind. You want to keep talking about the depressing shit.
Is Dave the president thing?
Yes. Go to your story. I want to hear more depressing shit.
No. You can talk. Never mind.
No.
I don't want to piss people off because I don't know what this is. If this is going to turn political.
Everything turns political these
Because
days.
I am not coming from a politically motivated position at all.
I was just going to say the movie with Kevin Kline, Dave, he's the president and he has some kind of accident and they find a lookalike for him. Some regular guy, they go, you look just like the president. You have to act like the president now.
Yeah.
There's always been that conspiracy theory that they always have a backup replica of the president.
I was watching, we were talking a little bit earlier, too, about the special I saw on Netflix, and it was about the president's security, which I find all that fascinating, especially now that Trump comes to Palm Beach so much. I kind of go out I'm like, how do they do that? What do they do? So it was a fascinating special for me, and I was telling you about how they have 2 Air Force Ones. Identical planes set the exact same way. And I didn't even realize this. Sometimes if you see Air Force One flying in, Trump may not be on it. That might be the decoy plane.
Oh.
So they said that's the whole thing. They will run decoys, and they've even had situations where the president's car, I think they call it the Beast, is always nearby in case something squirrely goes down. But they've had instances too where they've done a bait and switch, and they'll run the president off in another sidecar kind of thing. And you would have especially like if you're going to Beirut or one of those countries they're really worried about, that may not be the president in there. They might be doing something to try to bait switch to keep anybody guessing. So they're like, wait, which one's he on? That's why when you do Marine One, that helicopter, there's always like 2 or 3 of them in the air in case you want to do a surface to air missile. Which one is it? I don't know. Which one's he on? Yeah.
I don't know. If you listened to the press, not the press conference, what was the statement he made the other night where he was obviously, reading off a teleprompter and it was like a planned statement that he was going to say. He sounded like he couldn't catch his breath and he was speaking in a deeper register without nearly the passion that he normally speaks with. And I'm like, oh, is he having a respiratory issue?
Yeah. Who knows? It would not completely stun me if he were going through coronavirus. And it would not stun me that they would be like, it is best for the country that
if they don't tell them.
Yes, that we do not let people know that the president has coronavirus.
There's also video because the feed started before it went live on network television. There's also video on Twitter of before it went live and after it went live. And he's like, I think he cursed. I was like, oh, that's over with. Like,
yeah.
You could just see, like, it was just everything in him to be able to do it. And I'm like, does he have the damn corona?
Wouldn't that suck to have, though, like a version of the flu or whatever it might be, and your whole thing is you can't even show the least little bit of...
No, you can't show weakness.
At all.
It's like being on stage and having poopy cramps or diarrhea. You can't let them see a...
The show must go on.
They don't let them see you sweat.
You can't shart in front of everybody. My God.
But
the news coverage.
If I had been standing next to a cat from Brazil that tested positive, don't you think the first thing you would want to do is go get a test? Like, why are they saying he's not being tested? He and Pence are not being tested. Like...
Well, because, who knows? They may have their own reasoning for it, and that part I don't know. But
that just sounds illogical.
It may just be that they're like, look, we're not worried about this. You shouldn't be worried about it. Yeah, it's all good. The president's not going to get it, never would. He's a strong man.
President Ralston, Air Force One is ready.
Air Force One.
It's got a big. Is it?
Oh my God, that's
there's
the meme.
actually hair on top of the plane, and it's flying.
That's the meme we need.
Yeah.
Air Force One.
Air Force One. That's how you get to work.
It's bulletproof. Damn it, we shot him in the head.
Yeah, that's how you...
Doesn't matter.
He's fine.
That's how President Ralston
Aim for
survives.
the neck.
The bullets bounce off that hair.
Ding, ding, ding. Got to aim for the neck on that one. Engineer Key sent this in, too. He said, tell Jaybird he should have Denny set up a VPN to spoof his location to Italy. Now, here's the reason, is because apparently Pornhub is offering up free porn to people who are quarantined in Italy.
Isn't Pornhub always free?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Pornhub's always free, brother.
Italian users without the need to enter credit card data for the whole month of March. Pornhub Premium, a service usually for a fee, which gives access to thousands of exclusive and quality content.
Engineer Keith, are you one of the VIP members of Pornhub?
You know something about it.
You
didn't even know you had to pay for the premium.
Well, I mean,
They know there was premium.
How much porn do you need?
right.
How does
The
engineer
free
Keith...
stuff doesn't satisfy.
There's so much fucking free porn.
It's not enough.
Engineer Keith.
It's not enough.
Ice that thing down for the weekend. If you're spending money on porn, we gotta talk.
We got an email from Heather said, I'm wondering if Jaybird wore latex gloves if he would touch his face as much. She saw the video where you drew the lowest card in sudden death, and to bring awareness to how much we touch our face every single hour, you had to wear the shot collar every time you touch your face. You got shocked. It was at least 24 times, maybe 34 times you touch your face that hour. She said, maybe another test. My hubby says it's helping him at work not touch his face as much to wear latex gloves.
Interesting.
I'll tell you what's interesting. How many dudes in the chat room know about this premium stuff on Pornhub?
I can't believe you didn't know about it. What the fuck?
I don't know what they're buying all this shit. I'm just sorry. We have a very filthy audience.
Yeah. They're all about it. Very filthy. Yeah, so latex gloves. Not touch your face as much.
I think the conversation we had earlier, I think I like the feeling of warm hands on my face. Mm-hmm. It just, I don't know, it's comforting.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't make you look crazy, though.
Well, at this point,
if
brother.
you did that move that you just did often, you'd be like, all right.
I get why people think I'm crazy.
Everybody else is touching their face less. You seem to have stepped it up.
Yeah.
I was caught again talking to myself in the cereal aisle, and it looks weird. It does. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I look crazy.
Let me see here. We got a couple people like Andrea who are all down with the carb-on-carb concoctions that you're going to be coming up with.
Yeah.
Interesting to see your top 5. You'll come back from the weekend with some of those.
Look, I'm going to make this priority 1. This actually goes above any kind of Corona prep stuff. You know, I'm going to carb-on-carb video for you.
Okay.
I want to show the people what to make, too.
She recommended stuffed baked potato with mac and cheese.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Carb-on-carb idea for you. Yeah.
It's a pretty good impersonation you do of that.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Who needs the real thing? Let me see. Somebody said, hey, Kev, will you tell the Duncan Sheik story on the ATS?
Oh, yes,
we talked
baby.
about that, yeah. Duncan Sheik, a one-hit wonder.
I am barely breathing.
Yeah. There was a girl, when I lived in Kansas City, there was a girl that I knew there that was a bartender at, there was this bar area called Westport in Kansas City, and it was this, I'm even like blanking on the name. It's been so long. Kelly's. Yeah, his name Kelly's was the bar. It was a corner bar in Westport. It had been there already forever. It was a really cool place, and there was a little pizza shop like attached to it. So you could be hanging in Kelly's, and you could get like a hot slice of like great pie, and just be kind of like,
okay.
It kind of had a feel
That's
of
just Jay Bird's
Yeah, I mean,
game.
you're selling this place nicely.
It was a cool place. It was an older, just had, age to it, but just aged well. And so I was talking to her, and she was telling me this story, and Duncan Sheik wasn't too far removed from his hit at that point, because this was, mid-90s. And she was like, yeah, he came to town one time. And so he winds up at Kelly's, and he meets this bartender. And, of course, she's, a pretty good-looking girl, and she's got some good-looking friends. And so she's like, he winds up back at our place, and we're having kind of a house party, and we got Duncan Sheik there. And
that's cool.
It's all good. And oddly enough, like, we're having a good time, and he's like, hey, I think I'm just going to go to bed. I need to, I got tour stuff, and so I'm just going to go. And they're like, all right, okay. So he goes upstairs, and I guess goes to lay down, and one of the girls goes upstairs, and she flings the door open, and in the light of it, she sees him in there, and he is just pummeling his pud.
He's jerking off?
He's just pop, 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 pow. Yeah, I mean, he is just going at it. And she's like, oh, my God. And, of course, she
Duncan.
runs down. She's like, oh, my God, he is jerking off so hard upstairs. And he, I guess, was all embarrassed. And it was just, I'm like, really? And so,
Sheik freak.
yeah, he was Duncan the Sheik. So that was the story on how he got busted pumping the pud by some bartenders at Kelly's.
That'd be a good name for a porn, pumping the pud.
It'd just be what, dudes beating off? How awful would that porn be?
I think they have that.
I guess you're right. That would be just a jerk off video.
Well, now we know what you're into.
That'd be terrible. That'd be hell. Like, you got to sit here for an hour and just watch dudes jerking it.
Everybody
Oh,
this
my
weekend
God.
should send you those videos.
Pumping the Pud, part 3.
Terrible.
I'm just going to send you memes of
Terrible.
guys jerking off all weekend.
You gotta stop sending
Terrible.
me. You're sending me too much weird shit.
Terrible.
You're sending me your ass. I don't want to say. I thought it was pandas.
Now you're going to get all kind of jerk off videos.
Oh, my God.
Pumping the
The worst
Pud.
kind of porn ever.
Pumping the Pud.
Pumping the Pud 12. Terrible. Let me see. Somebody texts in, said, what does the CS stand for on Kevin's shirt? It's Cholo Soy. It's my little place I go down to on Dixie. They got the, if you love ceviche, they got some of the best. They got the little vegetarian tacos, stuff like that, too.
Oh, sí, señor. Gracias.
Yep.
Not to stay on Pumping the Pud 13, but
Yeah.
Chris H in the chat room said it depends, Kev, on who you are. If you don't like, some people might watch Pump the Pud.
Oh, I get it. I'm talking about me personally. Yeah.
I think
I get it. Yeah.
if you put out a video pumping the Pud, that's how we go viral.
I agree, unfortunately. I don't want to agree. It's either that or that pissing in our face video.
That one's not even as good.
It's aged, too.
It's aged.
I have a dark beard.
Jason in the chat room's already got a parody song we can do for it. Pud thumping.
Pud thumping. Oh, that's great.
Good job, Jason.
That's part of the sound. We got the soundtrack coming together.
That's the kind of writing we like in the chat room.
I love it. That is good. All right, this is, who knows? This thing might just come together. Oh,
Oh, come
I
together.
love when
it?
a project comes together.
It's just fun to say pumping the Pud.
Pumping the Pud. All right. Well, there we go. All right, so we'll see what goes down this weekend. Jay Bird will have his little list for us on Monday. Some exciting stuff. Got a couple appearances this weekend. Suits is going to be at Metro by T-Mobile on Forest Hill in Wellington tomorrow from 2 to 4. And I'm going to be at the Revive Grand Opening in Alton Town Center tomorrow at 11 a.m. They've got like a raw juice up there. They got a lot of really cool things. That Alton Town Center is very cool. They've got,
Yes.
I think is it a Lenora's that is there right next to it? And they say their brunch on Sundays is popping.
They've got the newest Publix in our area, too. So if you like new, fresh,
Yeah.
sparkly, clean, pretty,
That's a cool area.
it's a very nice Publix.
I hear
Yeah.
a lot of good things about Lenore's. The word of mouth on Lenore's is big.
Yeah, it's the hot spot.
Got ya.
Yeah, you must have been talking to some young girls.
Because I heard about Lenore's.
Yeah.
Do you get that correlation at all, Kev?
All
No.
the young girls like brunch at Lenora's.
Oh, only young people like
It's the hot spot.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I want to know who you're talking to.
I'm not, I can honestly say I'm talking to nobody, including you, starting right now. Kev, if a stranger walks up to you, not a stranger,
Yeah.
someone you've never met before on Saturday tomorrow, it gives you a high five. Do you give them a high five or do you say, sorry, buddy?
Yeah, I'm still living my life. I'm going to be okay with it.
Hugs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not changing anything on
Heavy
that.
petting?
Oh,
Circle
no.
jerk?
Circle.
No, that's deadly.
Do that
yeah.
at the ballpark.
Another way would go viral, though, if we did a KVJ circle jerk. I'm sorry. It would probably go viral. Radio station loses their mind and makes circle jerk video.
Yeah, we
can
thought peeing in your face was bad.
We can blame it on the Corones. I don't know what's going on. We lost our mind.
We just had a full moon and the corona.
And Friday the 13th.
A lot of insanity going on.
So we all took out our penises.
Y'all want to watch Friday the 13th with me tonight? I'd love to have you. Okay, I'll shut the fuck up.
Oh, I hope you have fun
Alone.
pummeling your pud.
Pumping my Pud.
Oh, sorry, I said it wrong.
Pud thumping.
Show some respect.
Anyway, I'll be out there tomorrow at 11 a.m. Not going to be there long, though. I think I'm out at noon. We're just coming in. If you want to come up, do photos, hug, whatever, I'm cool with that. Just, watch the Mexican Queen. Don't get too close. She might stab you.
Yeah, you got to worry more about her than the Corones.
Yeah, you'd be fine. All right, y'all enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much to Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Jaber, I know you got something special to read from them.
Oh, shit. I don't have.
You promised Kevin yesterday you would have it for today.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Go there, get the delicious chicken. Is
Is that what it says?
So
you don't look like
nice.
you're reading.
It's so there, top of the dome. I got that photographic memory.
Okay.
Sauces galore, variety of sauces.
They wrote that?
The best in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all their verbiage. They also said Bigfoot is real.
They did not.
Yeah.
Try their corn fritters, amazing. Of course, a fish sandwich, a chicken sandwich, all of it just great. It's amazing.
That's a lot of words.
Sides.
It's not well written either.
Sounds like a run-on sentence.
Yeah. Why don't we tell them to work on their verbiage a little bit? All right. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll talk to you later.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.